Have you ever imagined how Job was able to hold on until his faith in God despite everything he has to pass through? If you had been Job, would you still remain firm in faith or keep serving God? I'm very sure his tribulations wasn't for just few days and even few months. You can imagine if his tribulations was for years. Follow me as I take you through the story of brother Job. In the ancient land of Uz lived a man named Job. He was known as the most righteous man of his time, blameless, upright, God-fearing, and shunning evil. He was wealthy beyond measure. He had 10 children, 7 sons and 3 daughters, who would hold feasts regularly, and Job would rise early to offer burnt offerings on their behalf, in case they had sinned in their hearts. He was a spiritual father. There is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God. Unseen to Job, a heavenly council gathered before God. Among them was Satan, the accuser. God pointed out Job's righteousness, but Satan accused him, saying, "Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not put a hedge around him and blessed him? But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." Job 1 verses 9 to 11, God permitted Satan to test Job, but without touching his life. In one day, 4 messengers came to Job with devastating news. He lost virtually everything he possesses and even his 10 children. Job tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell to the ground in worship. "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Job 1 verse 21, despite his losses, Job did not sin nor blame God. Again, the heavenly sin returns. Satan tells God, "Skin for skin. A man will give all he has for his life. Strike his flesh, and he will curse you." Job 2 verses 4 to 5, God allows Satan to afflict Job physically but forbids death. Soon, Job is covered in painful boils, from head to toe. He sits in ashes, scraping himself with broken pottery. Even his wife, broken and bitter, says, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die." But Job replies, "Shall we accept good from God, and not trouble?" Job 2 verse 10, still, Job did not sin with his lips. 3 of Job's friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, came to comfort him. For 7 days, they sat in silence. When Job finally spoke, he cursed the day of his birth, asking why he was ever born. The friends replied, but their words turned into accusations. Eliphaz claimed the innocent do not suffer and implied Job must have sinned. Bildad urged Job to repent and said his children must have brought punishment on themselves. Zophar said Job's suffering was less than he deserved. Job defended himself repeatedly, saying he did not deserve this suffering. He wished he could speak directly with God. He believed his Redeemer lives. Throughout these dialogues, Job 3-31, Job cried out in confusion but never abandoned his faith. Have you ever had one boil in your body before, and do you know how painful it is? How much more having it all over your body? Yet, Job still remained firm in his faith despite his pains and loss. Indeed, this man is worthy of emulation. A young man, Elihu, who had listened silently, finally speaks. Job 32-37. He rebukes both Job and the friends for wrongly accusing Job without evidence, Job for justifying himself instead of God. Elihu explains that God speaks in many ways, even through suffering. Suffering can be disciplinary, not just punitive. Finally, God himself answers Job, not with explanations, but with questions from the whirlwind. Job 38-41. He asks, "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Can you command the morning? Do you give the horse its strength?" God reveals his infinite wisdom and sovereignty, challenging Job's understanding. Job replies, "Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. I repent in dust and ashes." Job 42 verses 3 and 6. God rebukes Job's 3 friends and tells them to make sacrifices. Job prays for them, and God accepts his prayer. Then God restores Job, twice as much as he had before. Job also has 10 more children, and his daughters are named Jemimah, Keziah, and Keren-Happuch, the most beautiful in the land. And the Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than his beginning. Job 42 verse 12. Job lived 140 more years, seeing 4 generations, and died full of days. Whatever you've ever lost, inasmuch as you remain firm in your faith in God, I assure you that you receive all you've lost in double folds.
Thanks for watching. I'm sure you've been blessed by the video. Please do well to like, share, and subscribe.